SHEROES.in दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा प्रोफेशनल करियर इकोसिस्टम है जिसने 10 लाख से भी ज़्यादा भारतीय महिलाओं के सवालों का जवाब दिया है। घर से काम करने वाली महिलाएं, ट्रेनीज, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, प्रोफेशनल्स और कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉयज SHEROES के साथ जुड़ी हुई हैं। महिलाएं अपने जीवन के किसी भी स्टेज पर अपना करियर और पर्सनल लाइफ बैलेंस कर सकें, ये हमारी फिलॉसफी है। SHEROES के साथ 6000 कंपनीज जुड़ी हुई हैं जो महिलाओं को रोजगार देती हैं। In India, only 24% women constitute the overall workforce, of which 48% drop out, and only 5% hold senior level positions, ranking India 113 on the World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Index.
बेबी होने के बाद मेरे करियर में रुकावट आ गई थी। आज घर बैठकर मैं अपनी फैमिली का ध्यान रखती हूँ और काम भी करती हूँ। SHEROES ने मुझे वर्क फ्रॉम होम अपॉर्चुनिटीज दिलवाई हैं।
A year ago, if I was told that I would be heading India's first digital workwear brand for women, I would have said impossible. But SHEROES helped connect the dots, and the luxury label is now addressing hundreds of power women.
I was on a break for 1.5 years. I came back to Delhi, and within 2 days, SHEROES helped me find a great opportunity.
Digital India is making women independent in so many ways, and at SHEROES.in, we are putting women's careers on the map. Growth in digitization will encourage women to take charge and contribute to the India growth story. हम अपने GDP में 46 लाख करोड़ जोड़ सकते हैं अगर हम महिलाओं का योगदान बढ़ा दें। यह सोचने वाली बात है। अगले 10 साल में हमें 10 करोड़ महिलाओं को रोजगार दिलाना है। यह SHEROES का लक्ष्य है।
All right. So you saw the little video. I'll give you my Twitter bio. Small town girl, did my first startup in '99. Some of you were not born then. This is my 4th company, and we are putting women's careers on the map. But just to give you a perspective, number 2 company globally in terms of size, scale, traction. Okay. We see ourselves as category creators. We just raised a Series A round, and essentially what we are putting together is an ecosystem company. What is an ecosystem company? Is Google an ecosystem company? They created the information search ecosystem. They got you Google Docs, they got you Gmail, they got you search, all in one place. We are doing the same to women's careers. Okay, let's do this. We've got some mics here. Why don't you guys tell me what are the 4 or 5 things you want to hear about? Or if you have any questions immediately, raise your hand and we'll come to you right away. Really? Yes. Can we get him the mic?
Ma'am, could you tell us how did you start about your company?
Which one?
SHEROES.
SHEROES. All right. Okay, so I want to give you a little perspective on where I come from into SHEROES. When I was 21, I walked into a TGIF, got into a conversation with a mariner who happened to have a 30-year-old career in sailing, you know. So when people sail, they're away from home for months at end. And I met him, and the first thing he asked me was, you know, I've been away from my home all my life, and I want to do something about it. I have an idea, but I need somebody to execute it. Over that drink, we set up what became world's first newspaper for mariners. So my journey really started there. But, and why I'm telling that to you is because everything I know about startups and building teams and putting things in place and building a product and building sales happened there. Okay, and then I went, that company got sold, it got acquired twice over, it still runs. I did that for the first 4 years, from 21 to 24 years of my life, and went and worked in the corporate space. The True Blue Consulting, Monitor Group, Heidrick and Struggles, the suited booted lifestyle. In 2006, I set up on my own. And when I set up on my own, we set up a consulting firm to help tech startups scale. And that's where the whole idea of seeing lesser women in workforce sort of started to hit me. Just to give you a perspective, the class I went to high school with, most of them are doctors and engineers. I was the only one who's not. Out of that 50% women class, in a class of 50, I don't think more than 3 to 4 women work anymore. And this is right here, metro, super privileged, access to everything. And that's where the problem started to sort of ping in my head. And I started the company really to do something in a productized fashion. One of the most interesting things we realized was, the moment you say women, people will say, one, they will add the word empowerment to it and make us sound like an NGO, okay, which we are not. We're really building a platform. If I was to give you a closer equivalent, think of LinkedIn for women. So essentially that's where the idea started generating. 2006, 2011, 2014 we launched. Just to give you a perspective on numbers, that 6,000 companies is now 12,000 companies. This video is about 4 months old. And we today run one of the most unique experiments anywhere in the world, hacking this problem. There's a SHEROES app on the App Store. It's only on Android right now. There's a career helpline on that app. Okay, it's a chat-based helpline. It runs like how WhatsApp works, which means people have a lot of familiarity with it. When I was sitting there, when Danish was talking, I actually saw a ping come from a village called Lakhimpur Kheri. Have you heard of that place? I hadn't. Okay, I went to maps to see where is this place. It's a village near Lucknow. Okay, so women are reaching out from really diverse parts. Women who we don't associate with careers. Women who are stereotypically not on the career map. Corporates don't talk to them. They're not on anybody's wish list. They're not on, except soap companies and oil companies who want to sell to them. I guess they're not on anyone's map. But here's a woman sitting in a village near Lucknow, pinging a career coach, a life coach, her career queries. And I guess that's the enormity of change something as simple as this can bring. There are women from 20,000 locations who are logging into SHEROES today and talking to us about their career needs, about their life needs, about their aspirations, about taking charge. And the other hack we figured was we put work from home jobs in the legitimate space. Let me give you a context. Has anybody searched work from home jobs online? Okay, if you did that, what would have showed up 4-5 years ago? Scammy link scams, internet surveys, get rich quick, earn $50,000 per week, really shady stuff. You don't want to click any of those. But that's what work from home stood for. So when we started, one of the things we started doing was talking to companies about how they can use remote work as a P&L value driver. Because when you employ a smart person who works for you remotely, your cost of running that person is lower, your cost of infrastructure is lower, and you're still driving output. And in this day and age, in the age of enough tools and Slack and Google Drives, Skype, anybody can remote work. So one thing we ended up doing was create this category. And the reason why this person pinging from this village in Lucknow is hopeful is because there are more than 1 lakh work from home jobs live at any given point in time. And that changes the game. So 2 things really sort of working in our system that we're very, very proud of, amongst other things that we end up doing. But essentially, I guess, what happened is, I don't know if anybody, comes from a small town or an Orthodox family. If there were 4 men having a conversation and a drink, and a woman came in, maybe serving namkeen, chances are they would stop talking work, okay? Or even if they did not do that, the woman would never be spoken to about work or about, companies or offices or business or politics. And that's the nature of conversation in 95% of this country. Women are not spoken to about professional issues. And I guess that's why we felt the need to create a space which gives women their voice. It's a zone where they're not talking kids, they're not talking shopping, they're not talking parenting, they're not talking relatives, they're not talking mom-in-laws. They're talking about their aspirations. They're talking about what they can do. They're talking about their dreams. They're talking about transitions that they're undergoing in their life. They're talking about starting up. They're talking about becoming micro-entrepreneurs. They're talking about what they can do with the energy, enthusiasm, and aspiration that they have. And that's what we're very excited about. You have a question? Yes, please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. My question is, fine, you help women get a work, get a job, maybe work from home, but how do you earn from that?
How do we earn from that? How do platforms earn? How does a LinkedIn make money?
Advertisements.
Advertisements. Very good question. Let me take you through the SHEROES model. Okay. So for the longest time, because we work with women, people thought we were an NGO, and they were very reluctant to talk to us. It was very uncool and unsexy. So here's what we're doing. We're really putting together a platform. So marketplaces, when there is a buyer and there is a seller, there is a transaction, there is value generated, right? That's the fundamental model. But here's what we're really doing. So we really created an open platform, which means we don't want to monetize early on. We don't want to kill the incentive of companies to do this and of women to do this. So if I went out and asked this woman to pay a membership, she might be a little demotivated because she may not have that cash. Online transactions are not so easy. And for companies anyway, where the majority of workforce is not women, the drive also comes from many places. So to begin with, posting jobs on SHEROES is free, but we see ourselves more than jobs. So we see ourselves as an organization that is set up to help women navigate career changes, career aspirations. So some of you here, you were just starting out, right? All you young women who today stand at par, but as you get further in your life, or even when you start your journeys, the need for mentorship. How many women here want to do a startup? How many of you want to reach leadership positions by the time you're 30? Right? You do have aspirations. So we are setting ourselves up as a career go-to for women all across. And 80% of our work is really serving that gap. There's a mentorship piece, there is a jobs piece, there is content, there is skills and learning, and there's a community that sort of backs it up all. The way we make money is how platforms make money. Advertising, one of them. Premium subscriptions, second. We also run 2 service lines. So there's a service we offer, which is actually really popular and something we're very proud of. We offer a managed remote service piece to companies. So if you're a company who wants to, let's say, hire 100 people on your sales force to call your customers who can work from home, SHEROES will manage that for you. And it allows companies to do this without having to set up a parallel process, parallel managerial talent, all of that. So that's key to us.
Good evening, ma'am. So my query revolves around the fact that, as you said, whenever women enter, she will not be treated equally, or men would stop discussing things if she's there. Did you face such problems? And if you did, how did you manage to come out of it? Because since you've been in the line.
So I did and I did not, and I'll share how and why. My parents belong to deep interiors in Punjab. So I remember when I was a kid hearing this line, my grandmom say, to somebody else, not to me, that if you're born a girl and they haven't killed you and buried you by now, consider yourself lucky. Okay? At the same time, I had a dad who really encouraged me. We got the best of books. I got the best of resources. I got to do what I wanted to do. I did not take a conventional career path. I did not do engineering when everybody in my peer group is an engineer. I did not do medical when that was the right thing to do at that time. I went and did things my own way. I have a very diverse academic background. But at the same time, it's not a question of whether I faced it or not, really. It's not a, it's not a bleeding heart that's doing things, and I think it would only go that far. The idea is to say, can you proactively, in a very pragmatic way, solve a problem that everyone faces, or a lot of people face, or it is something that's slowing us down. You know, how on earth are we going to be the next Silicon Valley or the next whatever, or the first China, or whatever we want to be, without having 50% of our workforce, you know, kicking ass, right? So I think it's more about that. It's also about scaling our aspirations, both as men and women, I think, you know. And to me, it comes really from that place. It doesn't come from a place of victimhood at all. We have 5 more minutes. You have a question here? Okay, you'll have to bring it here.
So can you throw some light on what kind of challenges do you face or the company faces when to get these women online and come and interact with you?
How did we build this community? Is that what your question
so
is?
basically, to encourage these women who are from various diverse background to come online and basically express themselves and sort of trust the platform and say, okay, this is where we can find the solution. And then the other aspect is the kind of family background these females may be coming from. So those kind of challenges. So how is that take?
Yeah, so I have to be honest in saying I don't think we're right now addressing the problem of getting women online. I hope we will, and we will go vernacular, and we will do, you know, vernacular variants of our platform. But today, I think the people we are talking to are women you and I know, okay? Just to give you a stat, India is home to the maximum number of women graduates anywhere in the world, okay? We set up this large British system of education, so that's been churning out graduates every year, right? 50% of them are women. And we all know it, people who top our classes are all women, they are the class prefects, right? So we come from that legacy. So a majority of women are actually women you and I know, urban, middle class, and with aspirations, but also with a family, or also with wherever they come from. Just to give you a sense on data, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, still the biggest 3 cities on the map. But then after Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, there are more than 19,700 locations on the map, which come from everywhere. They come from right from Chapra to Lakhimpur to Balia to tier 2 cities, Jaipur, Chandigarh, Lucknow, Agra, all of that. So essentially, it's women who've been educated, and some have worked, a majority of them have worked at some point, and a lot of them went away for maternity breaks. A lot of them are army wives. The largest pool of educated women come from the defense forces, but their careers are in a mess because their husbands are moving or they're not there. And guess what? There's no other option. Where do you go? What do you do? And typically places where you are located or where you're posted don't have opportunities. You know, you can at best be an accountant at a local car dealer or at a bank, but there are no real options. So at this point, we really talk to women in urban middle class India. A lot of women are also very interesting demographic of the returning NRI. Okay, there's this whole generation of women who followed their husbands to the US and back, whose careers are also, you know, not in a really nice shape because, you know, there have been too many, ifs and buts there. But that's another segment. Today, our fastest growing segment is actually women between 21 and 25. The ones who are starting out and taking charge early on, and we see this as a sign of cultural change because they're beginning to talk about their careers now, and they're getting mentorship early, they're investing early. Tomorrow, they will also be giving back early. By the time they're 30, 35, they'll be ready to mentor 5 other women. And I think that's the network effect for us. 2 minutes. Last question.
Hi.
Yeah.
My name is Prashant, and I am from Bangalore. So I really like your sneakers, and
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like them too.
Right. So the question what I have is, now these startups are coming up, the IT companies are coming up, and they really want to involve their workforce with all these organizations what you have. But they also have this question here, security issues, my data is going to be leaked up. How are you addressing that particular question for them?
So,
Outsourcing some work, maybe content, maybe something.
okay, so,
Thank you.
let me give you our philosophy, and I don't want to answer this question tactically. We totally believe that if you have to make something go away, it's like a small line. There's a line, you have to draw a bigger line. So we are drawing the bigger line, really. So we believe in creating new market opportunities, newer models. So we find remote work. If India can be the outsourcing hub of the world, there is no reason Indian women can't run remote work for the entire Indian and global companies. I don't see this. There are enough systems and processes, there are enough tracking softwares, there are enough tools out there that allow for remote work. As far as I think safety, security, these issues are concerned, it's a big amalgamation of many factors, right? But here's a simple hack. It's like hot water, cold water. You have to put them together and the hot will become cold, right? The more you keep women in the, staying connected to their careers, as those numbers grow, keep in mind at some point when we started, this number was less than 100. Today it's 1 million. In next 3-4 years, it will be 4-5 million. Look at it, hacking as a network, right? And I think that's the big change. Today we are 12,000 companies, tomorrow will be 1 lakh companies. And that change will already be there. It's right there at our doorstep. And it does need a lot of intervention. It needs policy intervention, it needs social intervention, it needs patriarchal change. It needs change at every front. So yes, we have spent, hundreds of years fighting like this. How about hacking it for now? How about changing the game because people have to do it because it's the only way to be? Uber did not go and say, here taxi industry, let me tell you how to change yourself, right? You build something that's so cool and sexy that everyone will adopt it. And that's what we believe in as well.